Easy English reading about tigers generally. The tiger is a big cat. It is true that many other wild animals are also big cats, but you cannot mistake the tiger for another wild animal. It is the largest of all cat-like animals, including jaguars, panthers, and leopards. Like the lion, the tiger varies very little in form and color. The yellow color of its skin is sometimes a little darker or a little lighter, and it may be smaller or bigger. But when you see a tiger, you will never mistake it for a panther or leopard. The tiger lives in Africa and the southern part of Asia. We also find it on some of the largest islands of the Indian archipelago. There are some tigers near the Caspian Sea, but not in other parts of Europe. However, the real home of this wild animal is the jungle of Hindustan, Siam, Malaysia, and southern China. We who live in Europe, far away from the Indian jungle, cannot very well understand the terror that a Hindu feels when he sees a tiger. But Hindus often have no rifles, and if they have no rifles, what can they do? If there is a tiger nearby, a whole village sometimes lives in terror for months. Every night the tiger makes an attack. Today it eats a buffalo, tomorrow a child, and then perhaps it will kill a man or a woman. If the people are energetic, they sometimes start a hunt. However, as they do not have rifles, this is always very risky. The Indian Rajas and Englishmen also hunt the tiger. The Rajas and English sportsmen have rifles, of course, but with them are many Hindus who have no arms. The Rajas and Englishmen ride on elephants, and on both sides of them, the native beat up the jungle. When a beater sees the tiger, he must beat it up to the Rajas. Of course, the risk is very great for the beater. The tiger can easily kill him, but the Rajas and English sportsmen do not think much about that. They only think about their sport. The Chinese have an interesting method of killing tigers. They catch the tiger with a mirror. They put a mirror on a tree. Then they make a hole under the tree and cover it with grass. The tiger sees its reflection in the mirror. He thinks it is another tiger and wants to fight it. It jumps up to this other tiger and falls into the hole. People now come to the hole and kill the tiger. This method is, of course, very difficult, and perhaps you may think it is very strange. But the Hindus also have very strange methods. We may now speak about these methods, and especially of the methods of the great Hindu hunter Osaru. In the beginning of our story, we find Osaru going through the jungle with two Europeans, the botanists Charles and Caspar. It is evening. The sun is low. Behind them is 3 days of walking through the jungle, and now at last they come to a village. A deputation from the village comes out to meet them. The people tell Osaru how glad they are to see him. Charles and Caspar do not speak the language of the villagers. They do not understand them, but they understand that the men are glad to see Osaru, and they also see the terror on their faces. "What is it? What is it?" the two botanists ask Osaru. "There is a man-eater in the jungle," he answers. "A man-eater? But what's a man-eater?" asks Charles. "A man-eater," says Osaru, "is a tiger who not only kills wild animals but also humans. Yes, a man-eater kills men, women, and children and terrorizes entire villages." "But why are they happy to see you?" asks Caspar. "They recognize my name," says Osaru. "They know I am a good hunter. Now I must help the villagers. I must kill the tiger. If I do not kill him, he may kill many people in the village. I have a plan for killing him. But let us go into the village and rest. The sun is low. We can do nothing today. It is too late." The next morning, Osaru starts to work on his plan. He asks the villagers to help him. They are, of course, very glad to help him. They know he is the only man who can help them. He tells them to make a big cage of bamboo and put it in the jungle not far from the village. Then he asks for 3 more things: a she-goat, the skin of a buffalo, and a long spear. At last, he tells the villagers to put the goat and the buffalo skin into the cage. When all is ready, it is late evening. Osaru takes the 2 botanists into the jungle where the cage stands. Here he gives them his last instructions. "Charles and Caspar," says Osaru, "get on this big tree and stay there until you hear my cries. When you hear my cries, call the people from the village, but do not come down before you hear from me." "And where are you going?" asks Charles. "I am going into the cage with the goat," answers Osaru. "But do not ask me questions. Just look down from the tree. You can see everything from the tree." Saying this, Osaru goes into the bamboo cage. Here, he puts the buffalo skin on his shoulders, takes a bamboo spear in his hands, and sits down beside the goat. The night is dark. There is no moon. From their tree, Charles and Caspar can only see the silhouettes of a buffalo and a goat in the bamboo cage, and they can hear the cry of the goat, calling for her young. An hour passes. Nothing, nothing. A second hour, still nothing. A third hour. And then at the beginning of the 4th hour, they see 2 yellow eyes through the darkness. It is a tiger. He hears the goat. In a minute, he's already near the bamboo cage. Now he not only hears the goat, he sees it. And there is also a buffalo in the cage. What a good dinner. But how can he get at them? The tiger shakes one of the bamboos with his paw, but the bamboo is strong. No effect. Now the tiger puts his paw into the cage and tries to get at the goat in this way. But the goat only jumps away, crying. Again, no effect. What can the tiger do now? He stops for a moment, and now the buffalo jumps at the tiger. The long spear comes out through the bamboos and goes straight into the tiger's yellow skin. The animal falls, but in another moment he's on his feet again, ready for the last jump. He thinks he can jump into the cage over the bamboo. But he does not know the cage has a roof. The jump is too big, and he falls onto the roof. And now Osaru's spear comes out from below and goes straight through him. He falls dead. "Call the people from the village! Call the people from the village!" cries Osaru. In a moment, Charles and Caspar are beside Osaru, and in another moment, all the people of the village are with him. All that night, they feasted, sang, and danced. It is the end of the terror of the jungle, the man-eater.